Hey, in this episode, we're learning about a guy named Dan Saunders. Dan was a guy who figured out a pretty wild glitch in an ATM and lived a pretty insane lifestyle. You're not going to believe this. This is a bonkers episode. Hey, if you're here for the first time, this is Things I Learned Last Night. It's a comedy podcast where we learn a little bit of stuff, but we actually just laugh most of the time. And so it's going to be a lot of fun. You're going to laugh a lot, I hope. Maybe you're going to learn a little, but we're going to jump right into this week's episode. Hey, man.
What's going on?
Hey, have you ever heard of Dan Saunders?
Dan Saunders, huh? From Australia.
Yeah, actually,
He's a bartender.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know this story?
Dan Saunders.
Yeah. Do you know this story?
No. Is he a bartender from Australia?
Bartender from Australia.
Oh, yeah.
Shut up. Get out of here with that. You know this story. Do you know this story?
I don't know the story. Okay. Is he a bartender from Australia?
Let's see. Well, yeah, he is. He starts as one, and then he kind of has a career evolution. Let's see if you can guess. Here's a picture of him. This is Dan Saunders.
Okay.
Whoa. Here's another picture of him. This is probably bartender era.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
How many bartenders do you know that wear aprons like that, though? Is that an Australian thing?
Well, probably not at the bars that you go to, but and not the ones I go to either, because I don't go to any. As a Christian comedian who's never frequented anywhere.
Public, any other place
to
that
be
is
fair,
a church.
though, you don't see any text on this apron. This, from this angle up, looks like a Cracker Barrel employee.
That's
they all
true.
wear aprons
That's
as well.
true. Yeah, he could be like a Starbucks employee.
I took you to that.
They changed the color of that
Irish pub next to our house in California. No, I didn't.
No, you didn't.
No, you've only been out there one time.
Yeah, I was there for 12 hours.
So that's fine. And
I don't know what that was supposed to mean.
I just invited you out, and
literally twice.
And
I came one of them times.
Couldn't even give me the time of day.
Okay.
But anyway, the Irish pub at my house, they wear aprons and stuff. Like the restaurant that Ray worked at, she had to wear like a tie, even though it's like not a fancy.
Interesting. It's kind of like the.
She had to wear a white button up with a black tie, and
it had to have at least 15 buttons on it, 15 pieces of flair.
I don't know if that was something blue. What are you talking about? Like,
you seen Office Space?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 50 pieces. Okay, here's another picture of him. Maybe this will help you start to
understand,
piece together the story. Here's what's interesting to me about this picture. He's outside of a Kohl's, and that's so. I guess in theory there has to be Kohl's in Paris.
What? He's outside of a Kohl's?
Yeah, look behind him. That's clearly a Kohl's right there.
No, it's not.
That's a Kohl's, and then the Eiffel Tower is behind it.
Are you a dumb person?
That's a Kohl's. He's on a hill in front of a Kohl's parking lot.
That's a parking lot? That's clearly
that looks like a Kohl's
water.
to me. That looks like a Kohl's to me.
Okay. Are you seeing it better now?
No, it looks like...
Now you've got to make the decision of whether you're going to double down or like...
This to me looks just like our video we shot at Kohl's.
Quick question about what you did on your bookshelf behind you. Did you just go get the cheapest, dumbest trade show display plastics that you could? You just went to Office Depot?
I don't even know if we
spent all your rewards at Office Depot on
I don't think we read Wee Willie Winky. We read this in bonus content that I'm pretty sure we never released, and it's been on this shelf for a year?
Cut this.
2 years? Just sitting behind us.
Yeah, it's back there.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, it was kind of falling over, so I got some stuff to make it not fall over. And then this fell over, and now it doesn't have the glass.
Oh, that's what fell?
Yeah, isn't that sad?
Tim punched him.
Sometimes I just get angry at that. Okay, so here he is.
Do you know that we can interview this guy, right?
Yeah, we need to.
I've told you this?
Yeah, we need to reach back out.
Hey, Tim, can you turn this way? You're.
Oh, sorry. No. I saw an ad yesterday. I saw an ad yesterday with Frankie Muniz showing off his new hair after he got.
Oh, yeah?
I think maybe plugs. And I was like, dang, I should do that.
You think so?
The ad worked on me. I'm not going to lie. Because Frankie Muniz was balder than me.
Yeah. There's that Kansas City influencer guy, Andrew, whatever his name is. He just did it. I sent you his stuff. Remember his face swelled up?
Yeah.
And I said, you should do this just for the content. Like, yeah, you need to do it for your hair, but also I want to see your face. What I was saying, the person, the blue frame, this guy right here, his wife messaged me on Instagram and was like, hey, that's my husband in your
Why do you have my husband on your wall?
No, she said he did this like thing for this photographer and they sold it to Hobby Lobby and now he's like in all these stuff. So
all these podcasters just
he looks like a very 2007 youth pastor.
He really does. Was he? Did you ask?
I haven't. I was saving that for the interview.
Okay, cool. Well, we'll bring that back. Anyway,
so he's not. This is Dan.
This is a Coles in front of an Eiffel Tower. Okay, but maybe these pictures will start to get you into the right mindset of who he became. Here's one. It's a little blurry. Here's another.
Is this Roy from The Office?
He does look like Roy. Here's another. Oh,
okay.
We got the eyes covered up here, so this looks like
a pop punk album cover.
That actually does, like a 2009,
Dazed,
2010.
Like if you did the scratch font.
Yep, 100%.
And then what other pictures do we have?
And we've got here he is.
Okay,
private jet.
This is a
tuxedo.
This is a heist.
And then we've got
this is a fraudster.
Here's the private jet with some ladies, and then here's a limo.
Different ladies.
With different ladies and some champagne. So this is
there's a camera crew following him. So he's like this is a fraud.
You think it's a fraud? Why would the camera crew be following him then?
Because he's rich, and then later we get found out that he got it all fraudulently. Wait, is this like this name sounds familiar to me. I feel like it's gonna be one of those things like Elizabeth Holmes, where it's like, do you know who Elizabeth Holmes is?
Yes, yeah.
She was that girl that was kidnapped as a child. That's Elizabeth Smart. Elizabeth Holmes was the woman who faked the whole blood test stuff.
Yeah, what was that called?
Theranos, yeah. And so I imagine that this would be like that.
Not even close.
Cool.
So Dan Saunders, he was...
If you're having trouble picturing him, Roy from The Office would play this guy in a...
100%.
In a biopic.
100%. So Dan Saunders, he's from the town of Wangaratta, Australia.
Yeah.
Have you heard of that?
Yep.
Have you ever been?
Mm-hmm. The only place in Australia I went.
You said, where in Australia should we go? Wangaratta.
Wangaratta.
It's like southern Australia, probably like an hour, maybe 2 hours outside of Melbourne. That's how they say it, right?
Yeah.
So he, it's like a smaller town, not like
it's
tiny.
pretty crazy how much people don't live in Australia. You know, like the populated areas are all along the coast, obviously, but then everything else is just like.
Well, it's because the inside's a wasteland.
Yeah,
because of the nuclear wars.
Because of what happened out there.
Speaking of, I saw this thing yesterday about Tartaria. So and we might have said this in the episode, and I forgot about it. So maybe our listeners will be like, "You idiot, you said this." But I've always wondered. Ever since we put that out, that episode's been one of our like higher performing ones on YouTube.
Sure.
And the comments are vicious. People hate us because we don't believe it, and they really do. And I've always been like, this is such a weird conspiracy to get so passionate about. But I've always thought it was so strange that people got so fired up and passionate about Tartaria. Okay. Well, I saw this thing yesterday on TikTok. A Tartaria video came up, and this Tartaria truther was talking about it. And I don't know if I found this part of the story when we did the episode on it, but he was talking about it as Tartaria, the kingdom of Tartaria, was the millennial reign of Christ from the book of Revelation. And now we're in the post-millennium period, and that's why they're covering it up. Because
I feel like you mentioned it.
Maybe I did. Because I saw that and I was like, oh, that's why they care so much. Because they think...
Oh, now it makes sense. Actually, I believe in it now. Now that I know that it's the millennial reign of Christ.
I saw it and I've always just been like, what a stupid thing to be so passionate about. And then now I'm like, well, it's a religious thing for people. Now that makes sense to me. Before it didn't make sense why people cared.
Keep talking. Let's really. No, it's a stupid thing for someone to care about. No, let's
The
play this
Tartaria
out.
truthers have not made it this far.
Sure.
If they're still watching,
They're not. Does this shirt make me look shirtless? Because it blends in with my skin color. Do you think anyone's watching being like,
I don't think so.
He doesn't look that good shirtless.
I don't think
It's just a cream colored sweatshirt.
What'd they do with his nipples?
Skin colored sweatshirt.
They took his nipples. Who took them?
Who took them? Anyway, go on.
So Dan was born in Wangaratta,
Okay.
3 hours north of Melbourne. Looked it up, and so
It was just the next sentence. It was just the next sentence, wasn't it? You're reading the bio. Born in Wikitonka, whatever it's called, and you were like, I think it's like an hour from Melbourne. And the next sentence, had you just read the next sentence, says 3 hours from Melbourne. That what happened? That's 100% what happened. I saw it happen.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you're right.
I think it's like an hour from there. 3 hours from there. Just the confidence, dude. You got one job and it's to do the research.
I did it last night. It's not much. Okay, so.
Okay.
Okay. So he's 29 years old.
Sure.
He's working as a bartender at a local bar, a local pub. 29.
I do enjoy stories that start around our age because that means I could have this life soon. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, this could happen to you.
Maybe we'll hear how it goes.
So
I was born about 3 hours from Kansas City.
Hey, I think it was more like an hour. If I had to guess.
An hour if I had to guess.
If I had to guess. Oh, 3? Okay. No, so he's working as a bartender, and as he does most nights, he clocks out, calls up his buddies. They go out drinking.
Sure.
He says, I've had a long night of giving people drinks. I need some of my own. And so he goes out, starts... The look on your face is just sketching me out. Like you're up to something. Like you've got a plan right now. And you're about to execute on it.
You know what my plan is?
What?
Is to listen to you describe the topic of this episode.
Okay.
And interject a few jokes when I can. Because that's what this podcast is.
All right.
It's a comedy podcast where Tim teaches us stuff.
All right. So,
and every week we sit down, we learn about a fascinating topic that Tim has barely researched.
Thanks. So he goes out with a couple of friends. They're having drinks. And they're doing that thing where it's like, you buy a round, I'll buy a round. You buy a round, I'll buy a round. You buy a round. And then he opens up his wallet and he's like, oh, I'm out of cash.
You got to buy this one.
And so he's like, I'm going to hit the ATM real quick.
Oh, no.
And so he walks outside.
This is a theft.
Looking for the ATMs. Finds himself.
Across from an elderly woman, then he goes, I could probably beat her up, take her cash. Beats her up, takes her cash. I don't know. I probably could have waited for the next sentence, but I was just kind of guessing.
I was just pretty confident where this was going. Close. He sees an ATM for the National Australian Bank, NAB. Walks over to it, and he's got a problem right now because he's like, well, he's engaged, and him and his fiance got some cash in the checking account. But he's like, if I take cash out of the checking account, she's gonna know I've been out drinking really late tonight.
Before,
and then he's like, I could take it from the credit card. And
my wife doesn't know how much money we have at all. You run the finances at your house?
Yeah,
But she knows.
She's very aware.
My wife couldn't tell you if we have $7 or $7 million.
Yeah, my wife keeps a close eye.
Okay.
Because she doesn't trust me. No. We're very
egalitarian.
Yeah, we have a joint account, but we also still have our own accounts. And so we're very...
We do too.
Yeah. We're very together but separate.
Millennial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways.
They got a bills account and then a checking account and then a...
Yeah. They're like... It's kind of like if you had envelopes and you put cash in your envelopes for, I don't know, groceries. Cash in another envelope for gas. I don't know. Take a guess. See if you can guess. Okay, so he checks his here's the issue. Here's the issue he has. He can't take from the checking.
Right.
His credit card is overbalanced, so he can't take any credit.
So his only option
is a savings account.
Oh.
Problem is savings account only has $3 in it. And so he's like,
how much the fee is for the
for the withdrawal. And so he's like, bummer. And then he's like, well, he's a little tipsy. And so he's like, I'm going to try something. And so
it's like a vending machine. Just
He's like, he points a gun at the ATM. He's like, give me all your money.
He doesn't understand robbery. Doesn't understand theft at all. He's like, put all the money in the bag.
Robbing an ATM.
He's like yelling. You know what I saw on TikTok the other day is how lucky. I saw how lucky rich people are that money isn't a tangible thing anymore.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
No.
Or thought about that before?
No.
When it used to be gold, like they used to have it stored somewhere.
Yeah.
And then you would just go storm the building and take all the gold.
You can't like rob someone.
You can't go rob someone's offshore account.
Yeah, that's not an option. Yeah.
You can't point your gun at the ATM and be like, give me the money.
Give me all your money. Yeah, that's what he tried. It didn't work. And so instead what he did.
Just type in random account numbers.
Well, so what he tried is he's like, what if he's like, I'm gonna just take a shot in the dark. He's a little tipsy.
Take a shot in the dark here. Let me see.
So he does balance transfer $200 from his credit card to his savings account. Why he thinks this is gonna work? Anybody's guess. It says he gets an error and it says transaction failed and his card gets ejected. And
he looks and the money's in there.
Well, then he puts his card in and he checks his savings account balance and still $3. And he's like, what the heck? And he's like, withdraw $200 and it spits out $200 cash. And he's like, interesting. And so then he's like, tries it again.
So he's just found this one ATM that spits out cash. What if that's the secret?
So he goes from credit card to savings, $400. Transaction failed, spits out the card, puts the card back in, withdraw from savings, $400, and it spits out $400. Does it with $600, and it works with $600. Does it with $800, works with $800.
Did he try to not do the credit card thing just to see if it was...
just to see if you just could just withdraw? And then at the end of all this, he checks the balance, $3 in his savings account. And so he's like, okay. And so
the next morning, it's all going to get...
So he goes back to the bar. And he's like,
don't understand how. Okay.
He goes back to the bar. He's like, drinks on me. There's like 9 people in this bar. It's a small Australian town. And so
they spent all $1,300.
So he stays out till the wee hours of the morning, and then goes home. On his way home, he walks back by that ATM, and
East goes. He's plastered drunk, blowing kisses at the ATM.
To the ATM.
He's like, he's leaning over. He's like, hey. So like, where do you go from here? You know, like, are you going home? Are you going to work? Or
you staying out? Or
we're like, what are you doing? Shh. Talking to Nab.
Nab. It's me and Nabby over here.
Nab. Or Knob. I don't know how people pronounce it.
And so he checks the ATM, checks his savings account balance, $3.
Right.
Checks his credit card balance, hasn't changed. And so he's like, interesting.
What year is this?
2011. He goes home.
Okay.
Sleeps for the night, wakes up in the morning, hits the ATM, and...
Yeah, of course. First place I wake up.
Oh, God. What did I do?
You gotta
And you're like walking down the street. You're like, please be a drink. Please be a drink. Please be a drink.
Please. Please be hot. Please be hot. Please be hot. And you see it and you go, was I flirting with an ATM the whole time?
So he gets to the ATM.
Nab?
And so he gets the balance on his savings account.
$3.
$2,000 in the negative. 1997.
Okay.
Negative 1997. And he's like, shoot.
He's like, well, that didn't work.
So he goes to work and he's serving drinks, a little stressed at work.
Yeah.
And he's thinking in his head and he starts
to blow the whole $1,900.
Yeah. And so he starts to piece together a little theory in his head. He's like, I wonder. He's like, for some reason, in between midnight and 1 a.m., I was able to go in and I was able to pull money from my credit card into savings without it recognizing what was happening. It failed, but it didn't fail. And it never balanced my account until the next day. It balanced my account with what the balance was. And he was like, I wonder if I go back tonight at midnight and go and I pull 4,000, if it would put me 2,000 in the black. So that way the 2,000 below, he'd get him back to 3, and then pull another 2,000 and he'd be 2,000 in the black. This is what he thinks. And he's like, this is interesting.
He's like, this will make me even. This certainly won't put me $5,997 in the hole, right? Right? Like this clearly.
So here's the thing.
She wouldn't do that. Here's the thing. You know what I'm saying? She's not like that. You don't know her like I do.
That's not his plan. It's not stupid.
He sounds pretty stupid.
He thinks that he found a glitch. And he says
he didn't though. He didn't find a glitch.
He thinks he might have found a glitch, and what he's gonna do?
He's just using his savings account as a line of credit now.
So he thinks he found this glitch, and what he's gonna do is he's gonna get
Put
himself.
This guy in the Caleb Hammer podcast.
He's gonna get himself 2,000.
You seen Caleb Hammer? He's the Dave Ramsey from Millennials.
Yeah.
He talks like this.
Yeah.
He goes, "What do you mean?" He goes, "What do you mean you don't?"
That is so accurate.
Dave Ramsey the whole time was like, well, better than I deserve. Caleb's like, I don't think you deserve to live.
Are you stupid? He says that all the time.
Why do you have a truck? You can't afford Taco Bell.
So his theory, he has a theory that is broken. He's not saying if I double it, I'm fine. He says if I can get 2,000 in the black, then I can take those 2,000. We have a TAB branch in my pub, which is a horse betting branch. And he's like, I can bet that 2,000 and make up that deficit.
So he is stupid.
I mean, yeah, but he's not stupid in the way you thought he was stupid. He's stupid in
dumber in a whole other way. Okay.
So he's like, if I take that 2,000, I can double it. I can get myself back to zero.
He puts on horse trading. $1,000 bet down.
So he goes,
and he makes $131 million.
So he goes back, he gets off his shift, goes back to that ATM, and he's like, Nab, how you doing?
I know exactly where this is going. No, get to the part. Get to the part about the horses. I like horses.
He transfers the 2,000.
I just want to talk about the horses. What was the horse's name?
He transfers the 2,000 over.
Okay.
Checks his balance, $3. And he's like, oh, it's working.
It's not working.
And then he transfers another 2,000. Now he's got $2,003.
Okay.
So he goes back to the pub and he starts betting on horse races and just gets obliterated. Loses all the money. Goes back to zero. And he says,
what's his balance the next day, Tim?
So he goes and now he's negative 4,000 the next day.
A better plan than what I thought he was doing. At least you're like trying to make the money back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And so
now his balance is $3,997.
Yeah. So he goes back the next night, and the next night he says, okay.
No, because he drew 4,000, so it'd be 5,000.
No, because he was 1997 negative, and he pulled another 2,000 on top of that.
39.97.
Yes, that's where he's at.
But then he put that in the account to put him at $3. So then he pulled another 2,000.
Well, he hasn't done that yet. So he was at 1997. He pulled 2,000 to get him 3. Pulled another 2,000 to get him over. So now he'd be
when it all settles, he'll be 5,997.
That'd be 39.
Timothy,
you put 2 on top of the existing 2.
Timothy, he is at 1997.
Yes.
Negative.
Yes.
$1,997.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
He withdraws $2,000.
Yes.
That puts him at $3,997.
Yes.
In the hole.
Yes.
He withdraws another $2,000. What does that put him at?
That's 4,000.
The confidence that you just said that made me want the rage in my body right now.
No, you're right.
The amount of time you will waste on a podcast just to avoid me being correct is infuriating. I'll tell you that. These people have lives. They're waiting on us to tell them a story. And you're holding
I'm just taking my heels in. They're like, no, I can't be wrong.
You're pulling
I'm never wrong.
Dan Saunders.
I can't be wrong about stuff.
No, it's not.
Okay, so
When I look back at this video, oh man.
So he goes, and he's like, there's a limit to what he can bet on the horse races.
Okay.
So he calls up his buddies and he looks at it.
You guys to bet
He's
as
in the
well.
hole. So he goes back that night, gets himself back to $3.
By withdrawing $6,000.
And then he doubles that withdrawal so that way he could have cash to work with. And then he calls up his buddies.
Where would he be at then, Tim? When this all settles.
Now he's at what, 12?
17.
Jeez. Yeah, so he's getting deep. So he calls up his buddies and he's like,
how does anybody? This stresses me out.
So he calls up his buddies. He's like, guys, we're gambling
How
tonight.
someone can get drunk, flirt with an ATM, and end up $18,000 in debt is crazy. But I guess I did that with a girl at Evangel. I paid a lot of money to go flirt with some girls at Evangel for a couple semesters and then married a Missouri State girl. So
yeah.
Waste of money.
Brutal.
The moral
there was that
of the
James
lesson,
River one too.
but I married the Missouri State girl. The moral of the lesson was just go to the state school.
Go to the state school. Go to state schools.
Yeah, none of the girls at the Christian college were good enough for me. So. In the early days of this show, we did like affiliate ads where we were like, hey, sign up for Grammarly and use code TILLN and we got like 15 cents. And now we just do Patreon. It's a much better way. It's better for us as creators. It's better for you as listeners. And it's a much more fun way for us to interact. We do monthly hangouts like on Zoom. We just hang out and play games online and get to know each other. It's a really fun time. So, but still use our code TILLN at Grammarly.com because I think it's still active.
It is still
we
active.
might get like a couple cents from that.
Yeah.
But join us on Patreon because we're having a great time.
Yeah. If you don't, we're going to have to start doing mobile game ads. So he calls up a group of his friends and there's 5 of them.
We both married heathens. You married a Missouri State girl too.
Yeah. Everyone at Evangel was worried about me.
Evangel's like, whoa. I mean, I guess it's better than Drury.
Yeah, they're like, oh, he's going to go hang out at their library. What's he going to learn about there?
Astrology.
They haven't banned any of the books in that library. So he calls up a group of his friends. Great group of friends. It's him, Dan, Mark, Mike, Ron,
Peter.
I think, and Avon.
Judas.
So they go back to the bar.
Okay.
He's like, guys, great news. I have a lot of money we can gamble with. You guys can, whatever bets you make, you can keep a cut. And so he's like trying to use them to help him get back to the positive. This goes on for a few nights and he's kind of going up and down, fluctuating up and down. He's able to make some deposits, make some headway, but in the long run, really, because every night,
how is the bank letting this happen? Because you know what I'm saying? Like, is this over a weekend?
This is like a week that is going on where we're at right now.
But like, there's a Monday involved, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, there is a Monday involved.
There's office hours involved.
Yes.
Someone is seeing the ledger on his savings.
Go negative. Yeah.
How is the ATM letting this happen? Who knows, mate?
Yeah.
So, okay.
So he's making a little bit of headway from winnings, but
I guess
pretty
it's
much
interest free.
Pretty much he's doubling his debt every day. Because he's going in and he's having to get to zero.
Saying every day as in like he ends up like 34,000?
Pretty much, yeah.
How much debt did he go into?
We'll get to that. So this is going, and then he gets called into work outside of his shift. They're like, "Hey, you need to come in. We've got a question for you."
The police are here,
and so his boss is there, and they have a representative from TAB on the phone, the gambling organization. And basically, they were like, "Hey, we've noticed that you've been gambling a lot, like a lot." Way more.
And we're super thrilled about it.
They were like way more than normally happens at this branch.
We want to send the film crew down and see what you're up to.
And so, long story short, his boss realizes that he's gambling during work hours because of this. And then also, for some reason, Tab was like, you're way past the limit of what you're allowed to do.
Because like someone else is betting on his behalf. Yeah, so which you're not allowed to do.
So he gets banned from gambling at any Tab branch, and he also gets fired from his job.
Oh,
His
sucks.
fiance finds out about this, texts him, and she immediately is like, she finds out it was like something like that, something like $30,000 he's gambling. And she immediately is like, we don't have $30,000. How is this happening? So she just texts him, and through a text message, they've been together for 4 years. They're engaged.
She goes, hey.
And she's like, I don't know what you're into. I don't want any part of it. It's over. And that's how his engagement gets broken off. Because she just assumes it's got to be
like,
illegal.
So you're saying I'm a single man, huh? Oh, Nobby.
I don't like Nobby. It should be Nobby. Nobby is not good.
Nobby sounds like he's making out with an elf. All right? Here, Nobby.
Come here, Nobby.
Nobby is a free elf.
So, no job.
Yeah.
Like probably $30,000 in debt at this point.
Sure.
No fiance. He's like,
at his lowest point.
Yeah. He calls up his buddy Mark, and he's like, hey, I think I need a weekend away. Let's go to Melbourne. Did I say that right? Melbourne.
And Mark's like, you can't afford to go anywhere, dude.
And
that's what a good friend would say.
Mark's like, bro, sounds sick. Let's do it.
Yeah, dude. Let's take our wives. Should we invite Jaren? No.
So Mark and him, they go to Melbourne for the weekend. They try to check into a hotel, and the hotel's like, we don't want you here. They literally turn them away. They look at him. They go to it was like a resort, like a 5-star resort hotel, and they look at them and they're like, you can't come here. And so they go to another hotel, like a Crown Plaza, and they check into this Crown Plaza. And
Crown Plaza is a good hotel. Let's not.
I'm not saying it's not. And so this for them,
they went to like a Crown Plaza.
For them now, this Crown Plaza is the nicest experience of their life.
Oh, for sure.
They're like, holy cow, this is the high life. It's downtown. They open up the blinds. They see the city.
Open up the blinds. Oh wow,
the luxury.
It's the city, all right.
And so.
The city's so beautiful. I don't miss her at all.
So he is like, hey, let's go gamble. There's casinos here.
Yeah. Great. I have $30,000.
So he goes down.
It's not one ATM, right? Like he can do this at any ATM.
So he goes down, and this is his first time trying. He finds an NAB ATM.
And he feels like he's cheating. He's like, Nabby, are you here too? The ATM's like, I'm Nobby. He's like, it'll do.
This'll do. So he tries, and it works. Okay. And so they go to the
This is on the bank at this point.
They go to the casino, and he's like, we're gonna win this cash back. His friend doesn't know what's going on. His friend's just he's got a lot of money.
He's like, bro, we're gonna win this. We're gonna win $30,000. I mean, I'm gonna win this and her back. You know what I'm saying? And his friend's like, I thought we were just hanging out
for the weekend. I thought we were just getting away. Yeah.
He's like, 7,500 on black. 7,500.
Where do you?
Man, that's okay.
You just lost your job, bro.
I was thinking about putting like $100 in a slot machine.
Yeah, this is a little more than I expected this weekend.
That's not gonna get us there. That's not gonna get us there. No.
It's like 15,000 on black.
He goes, hey, don't talk to her, by the way.
The ATM?
Ooh, don't reduce her to that. The ATM. She's got a name, Mark.
It's Nab. ATM's her last name. Don't be so formal.
Hello, Miss ATM. Mr. ATM's her father.
So they gamble the weekend away.
Yeah.
Same thing. Like
how much
a little bit of headway, a little bit of loss.
No.
And so he, at this point in the story, he realizes as long as he gets back that next night by midnight to get in and double that account, then he's going to stay golden because it's never going to actually hit zero. It's never going to register that he's negative. He's like, if I make it every night in that midnight to 1 a.m. window, no one at the bank's going to find out that I'm doing this. And so as long as he just keeps that ruse going, he's fine.
But he has to.
Yes.
It's a double game every single
100%.
time.
Yeah, he doubles it every time.
Every night.
Every night he has to double it to stay on top.
Tim. I know how fast I can get out of hand.
So he's doing this. This
is my roulette strategy. I've told you about my roulette strategy?
No.
You put $3 on, red, black, even, odd, whatever.
Yeah.
This is just in the app. I don't actually gamble. But like you put like red, like $3 on red.
Yeah.
And then so if you win, you just put another $3 on red.
Yeah.
Right. But if you lose, you double it. You do $6.
Yeah.
Because then when you win that, you're at $12, but you've only bet $9. So you've made $3.
Yeah.
But if you lose again, you put 12. And
Yeah.
then 24 and 48.
Yeah.
And I know how fast that spin, because like there's a couple times where I've hit $24 and I lost, and I go, okay, now I've lost
a lot more than,
and so I can't keep going.
Yeah. So that's what he's doing with his bank.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It's causing me to stress out right now thinking about it.
Yeah, it should. Yeah. So
friggin'
Sunday night. Sunday night.
I don't feel more alive. I feel like this is an episode where we have to put that 1-800 number at the beginning. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, actually,
where it's
maybe.
like, hey, if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800.
If listening to this makes your blood rush.
For truth.
For truth. So Mark, Sunday rolls around and Mark's like,
Sure.
I gotta go back to work. Are you going home? And he's like, nah, I think I'm gonna stay.
I think I live here now.
He's like, I think I'm gonna stay.
What? I'm just staying.
I'm gonna stay in the hotel.
I'm just gonna stay here a little longer.
And so Mark's like,
Hey, dude, all
okay,
right.
buddy,
All
I'm
right.
gonna take the train
I'm
home.
gonna head back to Wiggly Town, where what's it called?
Wiggly Town.
About 3 hours from here.
It's about an hour from here, maybe 2. Wangaratta.
Possibly 3. If you're into facts and information. But I'm gonna head back to Winkleville.
Wangaratta. So he goes home and he's like, call me if you need something. Wangaratta.
Okay.
And so he stays in Melbourne. And so the next night rolls around. He does the same game. And he's like, do I know anyone in Melbourne? And
this guy ends up, let me run the numbers real quick.
He's doing the math.
This guy ends up $13 million in the hole.
Jeez. So he's like, who do I know in Melbourne? And he's like, oh yeah, my childhood friend Richard moved out here.
The Prime Minister.
I've heard of him.
Who do I know in DC? Joe Biden. I hit up my friend Joe all the time. Every time I'm in DC, I go, Joey
Hey,
B.
buddy. And
He doesn't remember
I
me at all.
don't know you. And I'm like, you don't remember?
He goes, I don't know you.
Yeah.
And I go, Dad, it's
Dad,
me.
it's me, Dad.
He goes, oh.
Oh my gosh.
He pretends.
Yeah, because that's too awkward. To be like, I don't
Too awkward,
remember
dude.
you.
He's like, yeah.
Yeah, you
are my
always have to
son.
pretend. Oh yeah, you
Dude,
must be my
if
long lost
anybody
son.
ever comes up to you and they go, yeah, I'm like your cousin, you have to be like,
Yeah.
Like that's way too. That's the appropriate way. We should scam people. That's the appropriate way to get close to somebody because it's close enough that it's like you should know who I am.
Yeah.
but it's far enough away that it's kind of hard to verify.
That,
who I
you
am.
don't know for sure.
Yeah.
Especially off that cuff. Like,
Especially if you can, especially in Utah where people have like 12 siblings. That was kind of that wasn't
That's
a
the
joke.
perfect
But it
place
really
to do
was.
it.
I'm
That's
serious,
a perfect place to play that.
My parents would be like,
that or Amish country.
My mom's only got one brother.
Yeah.
Who are
Yeah.
you?
So who are you? Yeah.
She's got more than this. She's got.
Yeah. Interesting. So he calls up his buddy Richard and he's like, my buddy Richard moved out here after high school. So he calls him up. He's like, hey man, I'm in Melbourne.
You ever gotten one of those calls from somebody you went to high school with? Have you?
No, I don't think so.
I've gotten a couple
Have
calls
you?
from people that it's pretty clear, like within the first 30 seconds. Right?
Yeah.
Like, hey, dude, how are you, man?
Yeah.
I'm like, pretty good, dude. How are you? It's like, oh man, just crushing it.
if we can-
Great. And then there's always like,
Can we catch up? And I got a cool new product.
no, it's not that. Well, that guy did call me. The guy who pitched me on the Amway stuff. And did I tell you what I did to him on the phone? He called me literally 2 weeks ago.
Maybe.
And he's like, hey man, I'm next time you're in Kansas City, I'd love to hang out. And I was like, man, I don't know if we've seen each other since that time in Springfield. He's like, yeah, man. I was driving through. I remember that. And I was like, yeah, you pitched me on your Amway stuff. And he went, oh, what? Like,
what?
And I was like, yeah, I remember that super clearly. It was very weird.
Yeah.
I was like, are you still doing that? And he's like, actually, yeah, I am.
That was what I was thinking we could meet up about.
Yeah. I hate it. But anyway, I've had a couple calls from people who are like, hey, could you just like Venmo me like $40?
Yeah. So kind of similar. He calls.
I always do it. I'm very charitable.
He's like, hey, Richard. And
I also know that if I send the money and then I report the transaction as a scam on Venmo, that it'll send the money back and double it. So I just do that.
So he calls Richard. And he's like, hey man, what are you doing tonight? Drinks on me. And Richard's
like, well, all right.
If drinks are on you.
I mean, I've got my wife and kids here, but I mean, drinks are on you.
Yeah.
See you later.
So they go out, they hit the casino, they do a night of gambling, they drink. And then at the end of the night, Dan is like, Richard, you want to see something cool?
Let me show you my ATM. Can I introduce you to somebody? I love the bit that the ATM is a person. That's really funny.
And so this is the first person he's told about this.
Yeah, hopefully this is a person who goes, hey man, this is pretty messed up.
So he takes Richard to the ATM and he's like, he does $500, does this with $500, shows it to him. And he's like, isn't that cool? And he's like, wait a second, I don't understand. Like what happened? And he does it again and they're 500 and now they've got 1,000. And he's like, check your balance. And he's like, that's not crediting. Like it's not showing. And he's like, no.
Wait, he's doing it to
it's
his
free.
Account?
No, to his own account.
Oh, okay. I was like, whoa.
And he's like, no, dude, it's like free money. And he's like, I just got to make sure I'm back here by midnight tomorrow and double it and we're good. And he's like, so here's what I'm doing. So they go back to the hotel and Richard is like blown away by this.
How is Dan keeping track of how much he is? You know what
I actually don't know. I haven't seen anything that like verifies how that works. Okay. So they go back to the hotel and he's like, yeah, so here's the deal. He's like, I've been doing this. And he's like, so I'm gambling to try to make back the deficit so I could get myself back to zero. And Richard looks at him and he's like,
you should day trade it.
No, he's like, why are you gambling? He's like, you can just print money. Just go back every night and just double it. And you just have the money. There's no reason to gamble. Like just keep doing it. And Dan's like,
so he found an enabler, which is exactly what you want if you have an addictive personality, is just someone to go, this is great, buddy.
This is kind of the best.
Yeah. Which is what our Patreon supporters are to us. Because we're doing a bad thing here on this podcast by
doing this.
It's a waste of your time, my time for sure.
Yeah.
But you guys enable this. So thank you for who you are.
So he calls up his crew from back home that was gambling with him.
His crew.
And he's like,
which is Mark. Vacuum. And what was the other guy's name? Acorn, something like that.
Acorn. Yeah, Mark, Mike, I think Ron, and Avon. Yeah, and Mike and Ron are like, this is weird. We're not involved. Like, no Mark thanks. And Avon were like, we're catching the next train. We're coming down. And he's basically like, hey, guys, we can have as much money as we want. And so he lets them in on the secret. And they all pretty much they get rooms in this hotel. And they just decide this is our life now. And so every night at midnight, they've got alarms on all their phones. And Dan goes to the ATM at midnight and does the transfer to get them back in the positive.
But at that amount of money, they're duffel bagging cash.
Yeah. So he's now moving 6 figures at a time.
So
to go down and back.
You were like, whoa, for my gas. But I don't know, man, if it's like $13.7 million, I feel pretty confident with that figure.
So now they're just living this high life. And they're not gambling to make up the deficit anymore. They're gambling for fun now. And then they're doing spa days. They're getting private jets to cities all over the world. They're getting Louis Vuitton bags. They're getting like tailored suits, like just living a high life. And they're also they're like benders every night. They're going out and they're buying drinks for everybody in the club.
Does Dan not realize that eventually he's $13 million in the hole? Like, you don't like.
I think he knew this whole time.
Which, I mean, I guess it's
because
one of those,
I think that was Richard's point. I think Richard was like,
how many years will you do in jail for this?
I think that was Richard's point. Richard's like, bro, you're never gonna make this up gambling. And he's like, so let's just freaking gun it until you get caught.
Yellow choices, baby.
I think that was his point. Is like, let's just freaking go for it and just live it up while we can.
And you're gonna get caught.
And he's like, you're gonna
And what I love for the other guys is that this is all on Dan's dime.
Yeah. And the other guys are like, let's freaking go, baby.
Make it 12.
It's all Dan's.
Do you guys want a Philadelphia roll, California roll? 4 of each, please.
And so they're buying food for everyone everywhere they go. And he is in, this is weird.
Lady Nab.
He's becoming sort of a weird version of like shoot, what's that guy's name? I'm drawing a blank. I was going to say Peter Pan. What's... That's not right.
I was imagining he's at the hotel just in his robe at midnight down at the ATM. Peter Pan?
He makes everyone in the hotel call him Peter Pan. He wears these green tights.
Okay.
Call me Peter Pan.
What were you trying to... That's the guy who keeps talking to the ATM.
I'm thinking Robin Hood.
Oh.
So what he does is he goes around and like he buys a hotel stay for the unhoused community in Melbourne. He's walking around and he's like, stay in this room. And so he's just booking rooms for them, buying meals. And then like he's going and like meeting people in town. He met a couple in town, an elderly couple that was like on vacation. And they were like, yeah, we've always wanted to go to Hawaii, but we're here in Melbourne because we couldn't afford to leave the country. And he's like, you guys want to go to Hawaii? He's like, I'll fly you there tomorrow. And so he flies them private to Hawaii the next day for a vacation, pays for the whole thing, pays for the entire vacation for them.
Okay.
And like just doing stuff like this nonstop, buying people's meals, buying people's hotel stays, going places and buying everyone's drinks. He would go to luxury restaurants where everybody there can pay for their own food. And he's like, put everyone's meal on my tab. And so he's just like uber high rolling it for the sake of high rolling it. And sometimes it's like people who actually need help, but a lot of times it's just like, he's just kind of flexing on people. Sure. And so like one of those luxury restaurants, he shows up at...
Isn't there a world where you... trying to think of how he can make this money back.
I mean, at a certain point, you're pulling so much, you could invest it.
Million.
And you probably could make that back legally.
Yeah, but I mean...
once you have enough.
You're just hoping that you don't get caught with the bag?
Yeah. Yeah, because that's the difficult thing.
What he's doing is...
That's the difficult thing is you have to double the amount. You have to double the amount every night.
Is it legal?
You have to, if you're investing, you probably can't realize the return on that investment before that balloons, because every night you're doubling what you're in the hole.
Right.
And so...
And they're not going to let you do $1 million.
Yeah. And so he's doing this night after night. I mean,
how much cash is in an ATM?
That's a good question. I don't know. I know that he was able to move. I know from reports that he was moving $100,000 or 6 figures at a time is what they said. What's the cap of 6 figures at a time is. Okay. That's the peak. The peak was he was moving 6 figures at a time.
Okay.
So I'm assuming he was pulling 6 figures in cash out if that's the case.
Right.
Which is crazy. Yeah, I don't know. It depends on the ATM. But I will say, maybe this is because at a certain point...
ATMs are kind of slow.
Well, at a certain point, here's what I would say. This is he probably wasn't using the ATMs because at a certain point, he actually went into a branch. And he's like, I wonder if I could just do this at the branch. And so he walked into a branch one day and was like, yeah, I'd like to withdraw $100,000 from my savings account. And he said that they went in and they were gone for a while in the back. And then they came back with duffel bags, $100,000. They're like, here you go, sir. And he walks out of there and he's like, huh. And so the bank has no idea what's going on, is the moral of the story there. And so eventually he starts just going into the branch every day. And so he's doing the thing with the ATM at night. He's getting the cash from the branch in the morning, just directly from the branch in the morning. And he's getting calls from the bank this whole time. They're like, hey, did you just spend $30,000 at Louis Vuitton? He's like, yeah, that was me. And they're like, okay, thank you, sir. Thanks for banking with us. And like they clearly have no clue what's going on. He's at one of those luxury restaurants, pays for the bill of the whole restaurant. And the server is like...
A reporter.
the server is like, "Are you the richest person in Australia?" And he says, said this in interviews later. He sat and he thought about it, and he's like, "I can think of the top 6 richest people in the country off the top of my head." And so he's like, "I can't tell him I'm the richest." And so he turns back to him. He's like, "I'm the 7th richest." And the guy was like, "Wow, cool. Can I get a picture with you?"
Okay. Someone took a picture of me in Kansas City for the same reason.
They're like, "Are you the richest person?"
Are you the richest person? And I was like, "Do I look?"
I was like, "I'm the 700th."
Because you know that rich people look bad, right?
Yeah. Wait, what?
They don't dress well.
I mean, depending on the rich person.
No, I mean, I live in Los Angeles. The richest of the rich people in the world live there.
Yeah.
And I've seen them.
Here's the thing. They wear very expensive clothes that don't look great.
True.
They're very, very, it's a $7,000 shirt, but it looks terrible.
Yeah, very expensive, but
Yeah.
you look like garbage.
But you look like trash. Yeah. That's the idea.
That's what I was saying. It was a compliment when someone was like, "Are you rich?" I was like, this whole thing.
This whole Navy.
Got to the airport this morning, looked
Stitch
down.
fix.
Do you see this on my chest right now? Coffee stains?
I didn't notice it until you pointed it out.
Thank you.
Yeah. I thought you were shirtless. I thought it was your nipple.
Hey, if you need a boost of confidence, let me give you a quick hack. Just wear a shirt size bigger than you usually do. You know what I'm saying? Right now you're wearing large and just buy an XL, you know? And we have plenty of sizes available in our merch store. If you go to TILLN.com, and so that'll help you boost your confidence overnight. Is that good? Can I say that?
I mean, you can say whatever you want. That's
TILLN.com/merch.
So $100,000 at a time.
Yeah. So
He's clearly in the multi-millions.
yeah. So he's in a crazy spot right now. So
I'm saying he could have, with that amount of money, I feel like it's easy. The same way that it's like easy to turn $2 into $3.
yeah.
It's easy to turn $2 million into $3 million.
Yeah. But how quickly can you do that? Because every that's the problem is every day you're doubling what you're in the hole.
True, but I'm saying like you could, I mean, in the span of a week, make back your deficit, I bet.
Maybe. This is a new show. You want to start a show? Every day you double
It's
your
called Double or Nothing.
doubler. Oh, that's a good idea.
Oh, shoot,
And you
dude.
gotta see if you
Bleep
can-
all this out. That's a really good idea. We got to take to the people who make Shark Tank.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
It's called Double or Nothing, and I got to start with $1.
Yeah. And then tomorrow you're going to be
I do
negative
$2.
$1.
I got to do
You have to
$2.
you have to turn it to 2, or the next day it'll be negative 2.
Yeah.
Every day you don't pull it off, you go negative whatever that double would be. Anyways,
4,
patent
6,
pending.
8, 10. Pretty good.
Pretty good.
My wife's a 5th grade teacher.
I grade times tables sometimes with her.
Do you grade papers?
No, I've offered. Here's
You've offered?
My wife is a first grade teacher.
Yeah.
She teaches first grade. I just want to over enunciate the fact that it's first
You
grade.
don't know that math.
And she says, and I've offered, and she's like, "No, you want to know what it is?" And I'm like, Are you serious?
You wouldn't understand. We're drawing the arms of a clock.
It's
You wouldn't
literally
get it.
shapes.
Oh, you're a big old dum-dum. So appreciate the support though.
You couldn't figure this out. Okay. Anyways, so he's going through this whole thing and he's just blowing cash, being Robin Hood, being Peter Pan in this hotel. And meanwhile, he knows that this is a big ruse.
Yeah.
And he's like, they've got to know. And he's like, they've got to be figuring this out. He's like, at some point, this
Ends.
thing crumbles. And so he develops like crippling anxiety. And so every day he wakes up just in a cold sweat. And he goes and he checks the bank. He goes to the branch, does the balance inquiry. They still don't know. And he goes to the spa and sweats it out. And then he goes back to his day and he like can't, he's losing it. And so he comes to the realization. He's like, I have to come clean. He's like, I can't keep living this way. He's like, I can't keep at midnight every night going and doubling my hole. And so he calls the crew into the hotel room.
Hey guys, me and Nabby, I think we had to break up. And they're like, oh, shoot, man.
Can I keep my bag? My Louis Vuitton bag?
Let's go gamble and
let's see if we can make up the deficit.
One last hurrah.
So he literally says, we'll do one more withdrawal. And he says, you can take as much as you want. Tell me what you want. Take as much as you want and you can run. We're going to have one more good night and that'll be it. That'll be the last one. We'll let it actually hit my account and I'll be in the hole and I'll turn myself in from there. And so they go, they make the withdrawal. Everyone takes what they want and they do one last party night bender and they just blow a lot. I don't know how much everyone took. I don't know if we know.
Right, but how much everyone was the total?
Took. And so the next day, wakes up in the morning, he counts the money in the bathtub because he had a pile of cash in the bathtub.
Right.
So he's $80,000 in cash in the bathtub. And he walks down to the ATM, checks his account, and he is $1,960,000 negative in his savings account.
Yeah.
So this is like a 5-month span. He's been doing this for 5 months.
Sure.
This is 1.9 million in the hole. And he's like, okay, jig is up. He's like, police are going to show up any day or any minute now. And so he just like chills in his hotel room all day. No one shows up. Next day, no one shows up. Next day, nothing. So he calls the bank.
And he's like,
hey, he's like, I don't know if you guys have seen my balance.
and they go, oh, this must be a mistake. 1.9 million. They go, how did that minus sign get in front of it?
Yeah,
we'll fix that for you,
I
buddy.
don't know how that happened. And so he gets the bank and like a teller answers and she's like, yeah, this is peculiar. She's like, let me transfer this to my supervisor and see if he can figure out what's going on here. And so the supervisor picks up the phone.
I could tell you what's going on here.
The supervisor picks up on the phone and the supervisor comes in hot. And the supervisor is like, hey, Dan, we know what you've been doing. And I just got to tell you, he's like, it's not going to work anymore. You've ruined your life. And Dan's like, okay. He's like, well, what happens from here? He's like, it's a police matter now. And so Dan's like, okay, all right. That's kind of what I expected. And so
and the guy was like, yeah, but it's the police. He's like, yeah, I kind of thought that was what we were doing. He's like, no, it's like, you don't understand. Not the band.
It's not the band.
It's like an officer is gonna come to your home and he's gonna kick your butt.
He's probably gonna tase you.
All the kangaroos in the country are gonna know what you've done.
The police, that's what the police do. They tell every single kangaroo in the outback.
Hey, guess what?
They're whispering in the kangaroo's ears. The cops tiptoe up to every kangaroo in the outback.
They play telephone. And that's how the justice system works. This is why America's so unique. Is they play a game of telephone with the kangaroos.
And the 300th kangaroo.
If it gets to the end and that one can tell you what happened, then you get shot on the spot. But that one's usually like diaper. It's like Dan Saunders stole $2 million from the bank, and it gets down there and it goes, diaper guy is a. And you're like, what are you talking
kangaroos
about?
Talk down here?
We've always talked.
What do you think kangaroos are?
Down here. We just don't have anywhere you are. We've always talked. We have equal rights.
Man, it's a real kangaroo court.
That's what I was getting at. I hate you. That was the joke.
So they
it was more subtle when I did it.
So he gets off the phone with the bank and he's like, all right. He's like, any minute now, the police are going to show up. Orders room service.
He's like, I'm in room 412.
Orders room service, kind of living out of the hotel.
He's got
day goes by.
Dude, imagine you're the guy who delivers the room service, right? You come in.
Like, what's in the tub? No, you come in, you drop it off, and he's like, oh, let me get your tip. He digs through the top. Dives in like Scrooge McDuck.
His feeder is up. You hear change at the bottom. He comes up with $1.25. This should cover it.
Yeah. Is that good? Sorry, I don't have any more. That's all I got.
The police are going to take this. Sorry.
Sorry, this is all
Sorry, I don't have any more. And it's like literally stuck in his hair.
literally covered.
He's like, I'm sorry, I don't have any more.
I don't have any more cash.
If
on
I
me.
had more, I would give
I'd
it
give
to
you more, but I just don't got any more.
It's like a weird. Anyway.
So a couple days goes by, nothing. Every time room service shows up or the cleaners show up, every single time, like he's like, oh my gosh, this is it. And then it's not. And so after a few days, he starts to get a little bit more.
Days?
He starts to get a little more comfortable. He's like, maybe they're not. He's like, I got $8,000 cash. And so he starts living his life, but not like extravagant, but like still living. And so 2 months go by, nothing. 3 months go by, he's almost out of that cash. So he's still living pretty good.
He calls back to the bank, and the bank guy was like, oh, frick. I forgot to call.
To call the cops.
No one said anything to you?
No one's. So, long story short, he burns through all that $80,000 cash.
He's like, I need more.
Checks out that hotel, gets a ride back to Wangaratta, and then gets a job, just some normal job.
Just $2 million in the hole.
Yeah. And works for 2.5 years. Still crippling anxiety every day. He's like, any day they're gonna bust through my door and they're gonna get me, but nothing's happening. And so he gets a therapist.
This is like me with the IRS, by the way.
Just crippling anxiety
every day. It's the only thing I think about.
So
I only owe them like $12. Dude. I could pay it off so easy, but there's a little bit of thrill.
It's just so exciting.
I'm going to give the government money.
Yeah, what am I going to do? Pay them?
I pay more to HBO than I do to you.
So he gets a psychiatrist, and there's an interview where he talks about this. He gets a therapist, and he tells the therapist the whole story, and the therapist's response, he dumps the whole story on the therapist, and the therapist responds and says, I'm not qualified to do this.
Invoice is going to be paid, right?
Yeah, you're going to be able to pay for this. No, yeah, the therapist says, I'm not qualified to do this. And he says...
That sucks.
His response...
You go to counseling and your counselor's like...
And so his response was, mate, you're the shrink. Surely you're qualified. And so he like dips out of that one, finds himself another therapist, keeps seeing the therapist. And the therapist is like, the only way you're going to feel better is if you get caught. And he's like, you got to make yourself get caught. And so he goes and he contacts the local paper and he gets them to do a story on it, does the interview, goes to the paper. It's all out there. A couple days go by, a couple weeks go by, a few months go by, nothing. So he calls.
No one cares.
He calls a national paper. Same
What
thing.
year is this now? 2015?
This is like 2013, 2014 at this point.
Okay.
So calls a national paper. Same thing. They run a story. A couple days go by, nothing. A couple weeks, a couple months, nothing. Nothing happens. And so finally, he calls up. You might have noticed this graphic. Current Affair.
Current Affair.
This is a national television program similar to like our 60 Minutes.
Yes.
So he calls them up and he's like, I got a banger of a story for you guys. And they were like, you're right, that is a banger of a story. And so they say, come on down to the studio. We're going to shoot an expose. And they arrange these.
He goes, great. It will cost you
$1.9 million. No, they arrange a photo shoot. And so these are from his shoot with Current Affair. They just arranged it. They got this private jet for him to take photos with. They got these models for him to take photos with. They got the limo for him just for the exclusive run of this episode of their show. The show goes through. They aired the episode, and he expected they're going to air the episode. The police are going to see it, and then something's going to happen.
But the police don't watch TV.
The police are busy talking to all the kangaroos.
The police are so behind on TV. They're like, did you see season 3 of The Office? That's what kangaroos sound like. Only one of them can talk.
It's the last one.
It's the last one. And if he gets put in the middle, the whole thing
gets thrown off.
He's like, did you see season 4 of Dexter? He's like, oh.
So At the end of this whole expose, they say that there's a warrant out for his arrest. And this is the first he's heard of the police caring at all. And he's like, okay, cool.
That's good for dramatic value, though.
Yeah, he's like, cool, they're going to get me. Right when it ends, like the credit rolls, he gets an email from the producer. And the producer's like, hey, mate, loved the way this turned out. Great job on everything. We've got all your photos. If you want to come pick them up on Thursday at this time, you can come pick up your photos.
It's 2014.
So he immediately
pick up my pictures.
He immediately sees through this. He's like, this is a sting. He's like, this is 100% a sting. But that's what he wants. Yeah. He wants a sting. Because
he goes, brings his own handcuffs.
he gets out of the car already cuffed.
No, he drove that way.
Crashed
at a red light
7 times. They're like, get out of the car. He's like, I accidentally cuffed myself to the car.
I was trying to help.
I was trying to be helpful.
Seems as though I've done something wrong.
So he pulls up, gets out, and then he gets swarmed with photographers and videographers filming him. And there's a single officer that's like, put your hands behind your back, bro.
And it's like a paid actor too. The guy's like, all right.
And so he gets arrested on camera. They roll the second episode that night of him getting arrested. They're like, we got him. And so because in that first one, they said he was on the run. They're like, he's on the run. And then they roll that second episode.
Kind of crappy to do.
I know.
But okay.
And so, long story short, he then goes into trial and he finds out that over those last 3 years, the bank, the guy who threatened the police and everything, never called. The police had no idea about any of this until that exclusive episode the night before. That was the first they had heard of any of this. And so had he not done anything,
he would have just got away with it.
He would have been completely in the clear. But here's the thing. They go to court, and in the court case, 2 very important things happen.
They can't prove what he's doing.
Yeah. So the first very important thing that happened is National Australian Bank doesn't want anyone to know that this happened. So they won't provide the paper trail. They're like,
oh, well then you can't.
Yeah. They're like, yeah, here's a couple of his bank statements. And so they were they were as cooperative as they could be to where they couldn't get in trouble, but as uncooperative as they could be to where the public wouldn't find out just how much he got out of them and wouldn't find out about what actually happened and how he did it, because they didn't want the public to know that that was possible. And so they just counted it as a loss on their part and were like, we're good. We're out of this. And so it comes through and they see a like 20 or 30 grand move in the statements. That's all they see. And then the judge didn't understand how it happened. Had no clue.
There's like, I don't understand. So like, he charged him his credit card, but there's nothing's no
money there. And then he got money?
But he has $3?
But where does the money come from?
But where does the rest of it go?
How does he get the money? What do you do with the money at that?
So let me get clear. It was $1,997. Then it was $3,997. And then it was $4,997. If I'm understanding that great, clearly I understand, right? Right?
And so long story short, he gets charged.
She got you too, huh? Old Nobby.
She got me back in 81.
I was with Knob when I was in Nom. And,
you know where you went wrong? You told the police. I didn't tell anyone. Now I'm a judge.
I mean...
And so he gets charged with just the $20,000 that they could see. He gets 1 year in jail and 13 months probation after that. And so he served in 2014. He got convicted, served a year. By 2016, he was done with his probation. Now he is supposed to pay back. I think it's $200,000 is what he got on the hook for to pay back.
Okay,
he pay that back, and he just got a normal job. And so he's like, I haven't really made much of a dent on that. But now he's writing a book, telling his story, and he's also got greenlit for a Hollywood film
movie,
telling that story. So maybe, just maybe, he's actually going to be able to pay that back and maybe make a profit on this for real this time. So the moral of the story is don't tell the cops. Or
the moral of the story is don't talk to the cops.
Yeah, the moral of the story is diamond hands, baby. I mean, realistically...
Don't talk to cops, just kiss them.
because what was happening was there was this 1 hour window in the middle of the night where the ATMs weren't connected to the internet system. And so they didn't know what was going on. They would just approve the transaction, but they weren't supposed to. That's why it said error declined. But if you just punch through that error, it was like, okay, you're cool.
It's like, yeah, my bad.
It was like, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. I must be wrong.
ATM, Nabby had bad boundaries.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I should give that to you.
I'm sorry.
And it wouldn't realize it until the next night at midnight when it refreshed. And so then as long as he made it back before that refresh, he was fine. And so he could double it. And so that's how he ran that scam. Scam? Yeah, scam. I guess it's a scam.
It's a scheme.
Yeah. In theory, he could have ran that for the rest of his life and got away with it, unless they ever figured it out and patched it. Had he not came forward, he also could have just got away with it. Because nobody ever came asking for that negative balance in a savings account too, which is crazy. They never were like, "Hey, are you gonna, do something with that?" I think the bank clearly realized it and were like, "Don't tell anybody about this."
They're like, oh crap.
Yeah. That one guy at that branch he talked to was like, we got him. And then he called his boss, and his boss is like, do not tell anyone about this. Because his boss could see.
He's like, but I told him the police are. And he's like, no.
He's like, no, the police are not coming after him. This guy got away with this.
It was like, guys, I'll handle this. I'll get him to stop.
I'll take care of this.
That's like if you don't stop, we're not gonna have Christmas this year. It's an empty threat. Like it's not actually gonna.
It's like we know what's really happening here. Yeah. So that's the story of Dan Saunders. I almost forgot my favorite part of this story. So at the height of this scheme, there was a banquet hall in Melbourne that he noticed was right behind a major NAB office, not a branch, but like one of their corporate offices.
He had a banquet overlooking.
So one day he went and he put a sign on the door of the office that said NAB employee banquet. And he threw a banquet for the employees of the bank, and thousands of them showed up, and he catered it, and he had all this food. He paid for all the drinks. He gave them all gift bags, and he went up at the end of it. And he said, hey, I just want to thank NAB, for your generosity, the hard work that you guys are putting in. It is making our business possible. We've had a great year this year, and it's all thanks to you guys. We're so thankful for you. And everybody was like, yeah. And he was just stealing from him the whole time.
So bold.
And they had no idea. They had no idea whatsoever. That's my favorite moment in his career. Is that right?
How long was this? What was the span?
5 months.
5 months.
5 months before it got to the point where he was like, I can't breathe.
You go to an ATM one night.
Yeah.
Within 5 months later, you were throwing a massive banquet for that bank.
For the bank.
That's what I'm saying. How quick your brain can get warped.
Oh yeah. He was asked in a Vice interview what it was like going from spending $70,000 on private jets to making $20 an hour. And he's like, it definitely humbles you. That's for sure. Yeah. He's like, it's hard to go from.
It's a lot I've had to fly coach once. And
he said it's hard to go from that lifestyle to back to a situation where you have to actually think about money. And he's like, the self-control, relearning self-control has been really, really tough.
Yeah.
And relearning, paying attention to the numbers, because clearly he wasn't. So, that's the story of Dan Saunders. We might see a movie soon. Roy from The Office is probably going to play him.
That would make sense. Or I could.
Yeah, actually, audition.
All right, I think I will.
There you go.
Hey, so does someone have to make out with an ATM machine in this movie, or is that
that's why I'm here. Do a photo shoot with an ATM and just send it.
Steamy.
This guy gets
a hot photo shoot with an ATM.
I don't know, something like this.
Oh yeah, this is bad. He's clearly so uncomfortable too.
Oh yeah, they were whatever. Yeah, this would be great.
Well,
anyways,
Fiddle Off.
Fiddle Off. Hey, thanks for watching this episode. If you liked it, you might like Sandy Jenkins. He's a guy who was an accountant for a bakery and did some light fraud, and it got a little sketchy. And by a little sketchy, I mean so unbelievably sketchy. It was a risk. If you liked this episode, you're going to like that one. Make sure you go check it out. And if you want to see next week's episode right now, it's out on Patreon. And if you become a Patreon supporter, you get access to that literally right now. So if you can't wait, go to TILLN.com/support to become a Patreon supporter today. There's a lot of other great perks. And then plus you just help makes this show continue to happen. So if you like this show, that's a great way to help out. Another way you can help out is by becoming a subscriber, hitting that bell icon so you don't miss anything, and then leaving a comment, liking, all the stuff that the YouTubers tell you to say. Do those things. It helps the show a ton. But if you don't want to do any of that stuff, just thanks for being here. We really appreciate that you watch this dumb little show that we get to do. And we'll see you next week on Things I Learned Last Night.